For our third biscuit, we're going to be making angel biscuits, and these are a little bit different from the first two biscuits that we've worked on. These biscuits use yeast dough, and they have the addition of shortening as well as butter. And what's very different is that instead of cold ingredients, these use room temperature ingredients. So room temperature buttermilk, room temperature butter, room temperature shortening. Another great thing about these biscuits is that they freeze really well, so you can bake them all and then freeze them and pop them out when you need them. Also, the dough lasts for a week in the fridge, so you can just pull them out, bake 2 or 3 biscuits, put the dough back, and have the rest later in the week. So let's get started. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to dissolve our yeast and sugar together in some warm water. So you definitely want to take the temperature of your water and make sure it's between 110 to 115 degrees. What we're going to do is we're going to sprinkle it in our water here. And give it a little stir. And then we're going to set it aside. The next step is to take our self-rising flour, which you can make self-rising flour at home, or you can just buy it already pre-mixed. It's just baking powder, salt, and regular all-purpose flour. So I've got that mixed up here. And we're going to add our cubed butter. And I highly recommend cubing the butter and the shortening before it comes to room temperature, because it's just easier to cut then. And you're going to just get it all distributed. And you're going to cut it in just like we did on the other biscuits. Just want it to turn into little bitty pea-sized bits of butter. And short. All right, so there you have it, little bitty pieces. And we're ready to add our yeast and our buttermilk. The next step is to take our yeast, which it's been about 10-15 minutes and it's completely dissolved, and we're going to pour that into our buttermilk here. We're going to take this mixture. We're going to make a little well in the center here. I'll take this mixture and pour it into the middle. Take a wooden spoon and incorporate it to a nice shaggy dough. Now we're going to flour our work surface. Flour it really well. And we're going to turn our dough out onto this work surface here. Get a little bit of the flour here. And we're going to knead this dough by folding and pressing it out for about 10 minutes until it forms a really nice soft dough. So after about 10 minutes of just folding and pressing, you should have a nice soft dough. It shouldn't be sticky anymore. It should be nice and smooth and tender. And at this point, you can either store the dough in the fridge for later use. You can cut the biscuits right now. You can press it out to however thick you want it, fold it again and press it out to about 1 inch and bake the biscuits. Or you can let the dough rise in an oiled bowl for another half an hour, and that's going to give you super light biscuits. So just depending on how much time you have is what you're going to do for your next step. I'm going to bake my biscuits now, at least half of them. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut our dough in half. I'm going to store half in the fridge for later, and half we're going to roll out right now. I'm going to flour my work surface really well here. I'm going to lay my dough out and give it a nice little press. We're going to fold it again, and then we're going to take a rolling pin and we're going to roll out this dough to the thickness that we want. Okay, so I folded the dough twice and rolled it out to about 1/2 inch thick. And now these biscuits I like to make pretty small. So making sure that you don't twist as you go. Pressing straight down. And these biscuits are going to have to rise for 1/2 hour. So after you're done cutting these out, place them on a greased cookie sheet and let them rise.